Welfare of children and teenagers rescued from charity homes linked to GISBH discussed in cabinet meeting. Main mastermind of counter-setting MO to be charged in court next month. Good evening and Salam Malaysia Madani. I'm SAHIH Samsudin and you are watching Malaysia Tonight. The number of flood victims relocated to temporary relief centres in Kedah has risen today, with Pulau Pinang recording a slight drop. Perlis has also opened its relief centres in response to the growing number of flood-affected individuals. In Kedah, the number of victims has surged to 2,618 as of 4 p.m, up from 2,194 reported at 8 a.m. State Social Welfare Department Director Datuk Zulkhairi Zainul Abidin in a statement today said these victims, 482 families across 6 districts, Kubang Pasu, Pendang, Kulim, Pokok Sena, Kuala Muda and Kota Star, have been moved to 20 relief centres. In Pulau Pinang, the number of victims has dropped to 602 with 10 relief centres in operation. A spokesperson from the Pulau Pinang Civil Defence Force, APM, said these individuals from 165 families are now in relief centres across the Seberang Perai Utara, Seberang Perai Tengah and Seberang Perai Selatan districts. In Perlis, 2 flood evacuation centres were activated as continuous downpours since yesterday unleashed floods in the state. Perlis Welfare Department Director Kuchik Kumat Isa said a total of 43 people, including a 21-day-old baby, are seeking shelter at the SK Arau and SK Sena relief centres as of 3 p.m. today. Meanwhile, Sungai Gial has shown a water level reading at the alert stage, dropping to 8.79 metres at 2:45 p.m. compared to 9.02 metres at about an hour earlier. The cabinet meeting today focused on the welfare, training, future prospects and religious education of children and teenagers rescued from charity homes linked to GISB holdings. Speaking after his visit to the Laman Usahawan Desa at Maha 2034 in Serdang, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said this would be the government's commitment to this youth, including providing religious education. He said the Social Welfare Department, JKM, will set up dedicated facilities to ensure proper care for the rescued children and teenagers. On whether these teenagers will have the opportunity to join technical and vocational education and training TVET programs under the Rural and Regional Development Ministry, Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid said discussion will be held with the Department of Islamic Development Malaysia, JAKIM and JKM.
Saya telah mengadakan perbincangan dengan Menteri di Jabatan Perdana Menteri Hal Ehwal Islam. Dan beliau merasakan ada beberapa kursus tertentu yang bersesuaian untuk mereka yang ada yang berumur 16 tahun ke atas.
The key focus, he said, is to provide religious education and guidance, considering these individuals have been in charity homes associated with GISB holding. Recently, ministers in the Prime Minister's Department, Religious Affairs, Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Nahim Mokhtar, announced that the government will ensure women and children rescued by the police during several OP global raids on GISB-linked charity homes receive support in terms of welfare, education and future direction. In those raids, police rescued 402 children and teenagers ranging from 1 to 17 years old from 18 charity homes in Selangor and 2 in Negeri Sembilan. A businessman who is also a member of Global Ikhwan Services and Business Holding, GISBH, pleaded not guilty in the magistrate court here today to a charge of making criminal threats against a woman on 9 September. The accused, Muhammad Riza Makar, 39, entered the plea after the charge was read out before Magistrate Ahmad Afiq Hassan. Muhammad Riza was charged with criminally intimidating the 25-year-old woman, a former GISBH member, to cause fear so that she would withdraw a police report she had filed. The accused, who has 3 wives and 10 children, is alleged to have threatened the woman by claiming that he knew where she lived, her husband and family. The offence under Section 506 of the Penal Code carries a penalty of up to 2 years in prison, a fine or both. The prosecution was conducted by Deputy Public Prosecutor Muhammad Sabri Othman, while the accused was represented by lawyer Zulfikri Ulul Azmin. Ahmad Afiq then allowed the accused to be released on a 10,000 ringgit bail in one surety and set the condition that the accused must not disturb, approach or contact the complainant throughout the trial. He is also required to report to a police station in the first week of every month. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) has found no evidence of corruption in the ongoing investigation by the Royal Malaysia Police (PDRM) into the charity organisation Global Ikhwan Service and Business Holding (GISBH). Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki said PDRM will continue its investigation without MACC's interference.
Yang ini kita serahkan pada pihak polis kerana saya tak nampak isu rasuah di sini. Jadi pihak polis akan menurunkan siasatan tanpa campur tangan daripada pihak SPRM.
Yesterday, His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim, King of Malaysia, decreed the PDRM to conduct an immediate and thorough investigation into the alleged criminal misconduct and child abuse issues linked to GISBH. The main mastermind, a senior immigration officer involved in a syndicate smuggling foreign nationals using a counter-setting modus operandi, will face court charges early next month. Tan Sri Azam Baki, Chief Commissioner of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC), stated that the suspect in his early 40s and with 20 years of service in the Immigration Department of Malaysia JIM was arrested on 5th September after evading capture in a previous operation. Additionally, 4 other agents involved will also be charged soon. Tan Sri Azam noted that for immigration officers not charged, punitive actions will be recommended to JIM to prevent future incidents. He revealed that the mastermind made bribery payments in cash to immigration officers and through agents who received bribes from foreign nationals. The MACC is still working to identify the foreign nationals and agents involved. The MACC chief mentioned a Bangladeshi national running a business in Malaysia, stating that further investigation and arrest will occur if sufficient information is obtained. When asked about a potential link between the mastermind and the Bangladeshi individual, Tan Sri Azam indicated a strong likelihood, as information suggests the mastermind was organising agents in Bangladesh to recruit workers for Malaysia. The Reformasi movement, inspired over 20 years ago by Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, has since realised into today's Madani administrative government. Initiated in September 1988, throughout the years, it grew into a reformist movement demanding social equality and social justice in Malaysia. Throughout the years, the reform movement, which began from a political ideology of then the opposition, today successfully became a combination of different political coalitions in becoming a truly unity government. Datuk Sri Anwar has always prioritised the people's interests regardless of political spectrum, race and religion as the foundation of Malaysia's development.
Pendirian Anwar yang tidak menggunakan isu perkauman membuktikan beliau seorang pemimpin yang progresif dan mempunyai misi besar kepada Malaysia, dan ini mungkin juga satu mesej yang jelas kepada seluruh rakyat, terutamanya golongan muda, bahawa masa depan negara kita ini bergantung kepada politik yang mengutamakan kebajikan semua pihak tanpa mengira perbezaan kaum. Ini adalah satu komitmen dalam usaha beliau untuk mereformasikan politik yang meletakkan kepentingan negara melebihi kepentingan pihak-pihak yang berbeza. Ini mungkin bagi saya satu manifestasi kejayaan political reform.
The young generation now need to understand the concept of reform and Madani in ensuring the prosper of the country in the future. His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim, King of Malaysia, will undertake a state visit to China from tomorrow to 22nd September at the invitation of President Xi Jinping. Wisma Putra said this will be his first Majesty's maiden state visit to China since ascending the throne on 31st January this year, symbolising the robust state of bilateral relations between Malaysia and China that have continued to grow since its elevations to comprehensive strategic partnership in 2013. Wisma Putra also said that His Majesty's visit provides an excellent opportunity for both sides to reaffirm a shared commitment to ensuring that Malaysia-China relations continue to remain forward-looking, dynamic and prosperous for the benefit of the peoples of the two countries based on mutual respect and trust. In 2023, China retained its place as Malaysia's largest trading partner for 15 consecutive years, with a total trade of $98.90 billion US, contributing 17.1% of Malaysia's global trade. Trade has continued to grow, with the first half of 2024 recording a value of $234.09 billion compared to $48.21 billion for the corresponding period of 2023. In the first quarter of 2024, a total of 24 manufacturing projects were approved, with investments totaling $717.7 million. On another note, His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim was today presented with the financial statements of the federal and state governments for the year 2023 ahead of their tabling in the upcoming Dewan Rakyat session. According to a post on Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar's Facebook page, the report was presented to His Majesty by Auditor General Datuk Wan Suraya Wan Muhammad Razi. The audience with His Majesty took place at Istana Negara. The 2024 budget is scheduled to be tabled in the Dewan Rakyat on 18 October under the theme Ekonomi Madani Negara Makmur Rakyat Sejahtera. Up next in business, BIMB Securities project fiscal deficit of 3.5% for budget 2024. Stay tuned. The Natural Resource and Environment Sustainability (NRES) is currently drafting National Climate Change Act to ensure the realization of sustainable development goals. It will also act as a comprehensive guidelines comprising effective actions regarding the pressing climate change issue in Malaysia. Deputy Secretary of NRES, Datuk Nur Hayati Awang, said the guidelines will take into account the interests of each and everyone in a community.
Kementerian juga sedang merangka Akta Perubahan Iklim Negara ataupun yang kita lebih kenali sebagai Rang Undang-Undang Perubahan Iklim Negara (RUPIN). RUPIN ini merupakan satu rang undang-undang perubahan iklim yang utama untuk dijadikan garis panduan kepada seluruh rakyat Malaysia, seluruh pihak-pihak yang berkepentingan di Malaysia bagi menentukan hala tuju dalam memastikan yang agenda SDG dapat dipenuhi.
In the meantime, Datuk Nur Hayati said NRES is also developing national adaptation plan aiming to improve the management and preserving environment sustainability as well as climate change in Malaysia.
Plan adaptasi negara yang merupakan satu plan komprehensif yang bertujuan untuk memastikan plan-plan adaptasi bagi menangani isu-isu perubahan iklim di Malaysia dan isu-isu kelestarian alam dapat diuruskan dengan lebih lestari lagi.
She was met after delivering keynote address at the Malaysia SDG Summit 2024 in Kuala Lumpur. On a related development, the Economic Ministry will ramp up its efforts to continue to improve Malaysia's performance for SDG as aspired by Prime Minister through close cooperation with the relevant ministries and agencies.
Misalnya dari segi perkara tentang iklim adalah di bawah kementerian yang menjadikan alam semula jadi. Okay. Dari segi ekonomi, Kementerian Ekonomi menjagakan misalnya tentang kemiskinan dan dari segi pertumbuhan ekonomi. Begitu. Dari segi kesihatan juga Kementerian Kesihatan. Jadi kami nak memastikan bahawa dari segi semua keinginan kita untuk memperbaiki kepentingan semua goals tu dilaksanakan dengan terbaik melalui agensi-agensi kerajaan-kerajaan peneraju kita.
Yesterday, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said that Malaysia has achieved 43% from 248 total indicators of SDG so far. However, he noted that Malaysia should not be too comfortable and must continue to work to improve its performance. Sustainable Development Goals Summit is an important platform for exchange of views and experience in overcoming various challenges to strengthen efforts in realizing the agenda. Discussions, among others, focuses on critical issues such as empowering local community, social justice, gender equality and environment sustainability, as well as resolutions and methods to achieve these goals.
Tadi saya sempat meneliti beberapa perbincangan bagaimana kita harus mengukur pembangunan ini beyond GDP. Telah pun diperbincangkan dengan teliti sekali dan bagaimanakah definasi-definasi yang harus kita berikan kepada sebuah pembangunan negara itu, dan tidak boleh hanya melihat kepada soal ekonomi sahaja, soal material sahaja, tetapi soal sosial itu harus juga diberikan perhatian.
Panels also touched upon the importance of policy planning and drafting by taking into consideration the best practice and new methods which prioritize environment sustainability. The summit, which takes place for 2 days since yesterday, consisted of 68 panels representing private and government sectors, academicians, NGOs and civil society organizations. The Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia, or CAAM, must continuously enhance its capabilities to improve safety, security and capacity, ensuring it can meet emerging regional and global challenges. Deputy Minister of Transport, Dato' Hasbi Habibullah, said this is crucial for sustaining the forecasted growth of the country's civil aviation sector. Furthermore, he said the Asia-Pacific region has become the world's largest aviation market and holds the largest share of international revenue passenger kilometres, while continuing to grow with corresponding challenges in air traffic capacity, efficiency and safety.
Unmanaged air traffic growth can lead to increased safety risk when it outpaces the regulatory and infrastructure development needed to support it. At the same time, aviation safety planning at international, regional and national levels are essential to manage growth in a safe, efficient and environmentally responsible manner.
Dato' Hasbi also said that CAAM has taken progressive action to establish a comprehensive program to enhance safety and security oversight by revamping relevant documentation. He also added that Malaysia remains steadfast in its commitment to support the International Civil Aviation Organisation ICAO leadership and guidance in achieving the sustainable growth of the global civil aviation system. BIMB Securities project, a fiscal deficit of 3.5% for budget 2035, aligned with the 12th Malaysia Plan mid-term review. It expects Malaysia fiscal balance to improve to between 3.5 and 3.0% by 2025, added by reduced development expenditure. The government also aims to lower operating expenses through subsidy rationalisation, though the timeline for the RON 95 subsidy remains unclear. While cutting operating procedure, or OPEX, may reduce the fiscal deficit, it could also pose challenges in hinder economic growth. BIMB does not foresee a new consumption tax in budget 2024, which will prioritise macroeconomic and microeconomic issues, provide direct cash support to vulnerable populations and enhance affordable housing. With locally produced electric vehicles anticipated in 2035, BIMB expects cash rebates to encourage EV adoption in Malaysia. Budget 2024 is expected to detail ongoing projects from the Public-Private Partnership Master Plan 2030, including 37 ongoing and 41 potential projects that will stimulate construction over the next decade. Significant projects like the high-speed rail and Malacca International Aerocity Hub are projected to positively impact construction and gross domestic product, or GDP. Creating adaptable social protection frameworks that are both inclusive and resilient, especially for vulnerable workers, is crucial to advocate stronger social security systems capable of addressing evolving challenges. Social Security Organisation or Perkeso Chief Executive Officer Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Azman Aziz Mohamad highlighted the issue during the BRICS Labour and Employment Ministers meeting LEMM in Sochi, Russia recently. In a statement by Perkeso, Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Azman was quoted as saying that discussions are timely as many nations are grappling with economic disruptions and technological shifts that have widened income gaps and led to more unstable jobs. Perkeso stated that the two-day meeting, which started on 9 September, brought together ministers and critical representatives from BRICS nations to address pressing challenges in labour markets and social protection. The discussion focused on recalibrating social security frameworks to tackle the rising issues of precarious employment, income inequality, and the evolving nature of work. The outcomes are expected to have a significant spillover effect on global labour practices, particularly in emerging economies. On the foreign front, EU court scraps €1.49 billion fine against Google. Stay with us. An EU court on Wednesday scrapped a €1.49 billion fine imposed by Brussels against Google over abuse of dominance in online advertising. The General Court annuls the European Commission's decision in its entirety, adding that the institution committed errors in its assessment. The court said Brussels failed to take into consideration all the relevant circumstances in its assessment of the duration of the contract clauses that the Commission had deemed abusive. The Commission, the EU's influential competition regulator, said it would carefully study the judgment and reflect on possible next steps, which could include an appeal. A Google spokesperson said the company welcomed the ruling, noting it had made changes to its ad services in 2016 before the EU decision. The ruling is especially welcome for Google after the EU's highest court last week upheld a 2017 fine worth €2.42 billion imposed for abusing its dominance by favouring its own comparison shopping service. As part of a major push to target big tech abuses, the EU slapped Google with fines worth a total of €8.2 billion between 2017 and 2019 over antitrust violations. At least 2 soldiers died and 26 were wounded in a bomb attack Tuesday on a military base in Colombia. The army blamed left-wing National Liberation Army (ELN) guerrillas who have been in, off and on peace talks with the government. The ELN has intensified attacks on military targets since August, when it decided not to renew a ceasefire that had been enforced with army forces since 2023 as part of negotiations held fitfully since the previous year. The Defence Ministry said that 2 low-ranking soldiers died, 5 others were seriously injured and 21 were hurt, although the latest lives are not in danger. The head of the armed forces, General Luis Emilio Cardozo, said that the explosives were detonated in a dump truck. Petro, Colombia's first left-wing president, vowed at his election in 2022 to bring total peace to the country by engaging the various groups in dialogue, including the ELN. But in August, Defence Minister Ivan Velasquez said the military would resume operations against ELN after the ceasefire ran out, as the rebels opted not to renew it. The ELN accuses the government of failing to meet the terms of agreements signed during previous rounds of peace talks. The model of phages used in detonations in Lebanon were made by Budapest-based BAC Consulting. Taiwanese pager firm Gold Apollo said on Wednesday, adding it had only licensed out its brand to the company and was not involved in the production of the devices. The stated address for BAC Consulting in Budapest is a pitch building in a residential street to the northeast of the city centre. A person at the building who asked not to be named said BAC Consulting was registered at the address but did not have a physical presence there. Several other companies were also listed as being registered at the address, though none answered telephone calls or physical inquiries from media. Media at the site was unable to identify A33A entrance of the building. Only the number 33 was visible on the exterior. At least 9 people were killed and nearly 3,000 wounded when pages used by Hezbollah members detonated simultaneously across Lebanon on Tuesday. According to a senior Lebanese security source and another source, explosives inside the devices were planted by Israel's Mossad spy agency. Still to come, 6 spots to be reinstated in SEA Games 2025. More on that in our sports segment. Starting off our sports segment this evening, 6 sports previously excluded from the 2025 SEA Games in Thailand but have the potential to earn medals for Malaysia are set to be reinstated. Olympic Council of Malaysia OCM Secretary General Dr. Muhammad Nazifuddin Muhammad Najib said that among these sports are 10-pin bowling, weightlifting, wushu, karate, jiu-jitsu and kabaddi. At the same time, Muhammad Nazifuddin announced that they are working on submitting an appeal for lawn bowls to be included in the 33rd edition of the Games, with the decision set to be made at a meeting on 5th October. In June, OCM announced that they would appeal to CGF to include several potential medal-winning spots for Malaysia in this prestigious regional event after Thailand suggested holding 40 spots to be contested in Bangkok, Chonburi and Songkhla. The 33rd SEA Games is slated to be held from 9th to 20th December 2025. In European football, Hurricanes scored 4 goals, including 3 penalties, as Bayern Munich beat Dynamo Zagreb 9-2 at home on Tuesday, becoming the first team to score 9 goals in a Champions League match. Kane opened the scoring from the spot after 19 minutes, and his second-half hat-trick took him to 33 Champions League goals, the most of any Englishman, as he overtook Wayne Rooney's mark of 30. The comfortable scoreline marked a difficult period after the break, when Bayern lost goalkeeper Manuel Neuer to injury and Zagreb rallied, scoring 2 goals in 2 minutes to cut the gap to 3-2 after 5 second half minutes. Former Crystal Palace forward Michael Olise scored a brace on his Champions League debut, while Rafael Guerrero, Leroy Sane and Leon Goretzka also grabbed goals for Bayern. Bayern boss Vincent Kompany toasted a record-breaking win on his debut as a Champions League coach. It was a remarkable way to mark the opening night of the brand-new Champions League, with the competition now featuring 36 teams, all pooled together in one giant league instead of the old group stage. And that wraps up our bulletin this evening. In our top story today, Cabinet today discussed on welfare of children and teenagers rescued from charity homes linked to GISBH. Do join us again tomorrow afternoon on TV2 and saluran Berita RTM at 12:30 in the afternoon for your daily world updates. Till then, I'm SAHIH from the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. Good night.